Welcome back, everyone, to theCUBE. We're here on the show floor of AWS Summit in New York City for the big event. We're broadcasting all week from our NYSE studio as well in Wall Street. That's our new East Coast location, connecting Palo Alto and Wall Street. But the big show is here on the floor at AWS, and the star of the show, Matt Yanchyshyn, is here, Vice President of the AWS Marketplace and Partner Services. He runs essentially billions of dollars of transactions of products being consumed on the cloud. CUBE alumni. Matt, great to have you on. You are the star of the show with the big news of the Agent Marketplace. Welcome back.
Thanks, it's great to be back again.
So it's great to have Marketplace in the center of the action on the news cycle. Obviously Nova and Agent Core, some hardcore tech, but the consumption side, we've been waiting for this to happen. Give us the news, hard news.
Yeah, so what we announced today is that AI agents and tools are in a new category in the marketplace, and we had over 900 of these products launched in the marketplace today. And what makes it exciting is that it's not just agents, it's all the other things you also need to work with agents, like the guardrails, the knowledge bases, the professional services, and all that part. So yeah, we had agents in the marketplace before, but now there's a dedicated category with agent-specific product types.
So AI agents and tools is a category.
Yeah.
What does that mean from a marketplace standpoint? More promotion, more traffic? How is it clustered differently? What does that mean?
Yeah, well, this is actually a different way to discover and deploy them. So it's not, we didn't just take a bunch of existing products and recategorize them. These are actually net new products for the most part. And what they are is like a vendor-hosted API with optionally an MCP or A2A front end, or you can have actually the ability to deploy a container into the customer's account, or you can discover, like I said, professional services or guardrails and knowledge bases to work with them. So this is actually an easy way with an AI-powered semantic search to find them in the first place, corresponding to your use case, but then an easy way to also deploy them and may use them with more modern technologies like Model Context Protocol.
I just had CrowdStrike on earlier before you came on, talking about their news in the marketplace.
Yeah.
Marketplace, partner, customer is their focus. The importance of the partners are also critical for these agents.
Yep.
You mentioned MCP, A2A, agent-to-agent technology. That's new protocols coming out. There's an ecosystem within this now. This is why I want to get into the category. It deserves its own category because I've been waiting for an agent store, because I think agents will be a key part of how software will be built in the future.
Oh, for sure.
Not just services today.
Yeah.
Talk about why the ecosystem, how you see that developing, what's your vision? Because now you've got to have partners. They're also going to be in there. I mean, CrowdStrike's going to have an MPC server, which means they're going to have a developer ecosystem.
Yeah.
You don't really see that in security, but now you will.
Oh,
the
enablement
enablement is coming huge.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, CrowdStrike is a good example because they were originally server-based products, AMI-based products, and that was the original marketplace. It was more like a traditional app store, self-service. You went and got server products. And then we came out with SaaS, and you have companies like Salesforce, obviously very popular SaaS that you can buy through the marketplace. And that shift from server to SaaS was huge. And we came up with private offers channel. And this shift, I would say, is even bigger. This shift, not completely from SaaS to agents, but it's a net new way of discovering and consuming. And so you have existing partners like Accenture, who are offering not just their agents, but professional services. The SaaS providers like Salesforce are adding agentic capabilities to their SaaS. But then, traditional server product partners like CrowdStrike offering agentic capabilities. And they're all evolving in this way, this agentic way.
Yeah, I've been following AWS for a long time, since the beginning, obviously with theCUBE, but before that as a customer. It's almost ironic that the marketplace kind of looks like Amazon e-commerce. I mean, you might have a Prime Day someday, like, hey, agents are on sale. I mean, you're going e-commerce consumption in tech.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what your merchandising capabilities, not just point products. You have a lot of integration. We've been talking about this on theCUBE a lot with you guys, but there's always been that integration. But now with agents, a lot of that could be done inside the ecosystem.
I think you're right. I mean, you have this whole generation of app store users who grew up on their phones and on app stores who are now like CIOs and CFOs and CROs, and they demand like the same immediate results. Like they want to go to a store, even in a B2B context, and find what they need and procure it. And the only difference is they want those sort of enterprise guardrails and the data, and it looks and feels a little different. So it's not a B2C experience, it's a B2B experience. But you're totally right. People want that immediacy, and they want it now. And also, candidly, they have to have that speed, because if you're going to keep up in this agentic world we're living in right now, you need to be able to find what you need, those third-party agentic solutions, immediately. So,
and the private offers also can translate and extend out to agents.
Yep.
On offering on behalf of each other. So take me through that, because I think this is where it gets interesting. And Matt Garman posted on LinkedIn prior to the event around Kiro.
Yep.
And I had a deep dive with Deepak Singh yesterday before the news went out. And what's interesting is it's not just spec-driven development. There's also kind of a vibe. I won't say vibe, I'll put it in quotes because there's prompt-based coding with all the hooks built in, configuration, identity, there's a runtime. There's a lot of tech under the covers to make it all work fast.
Yeah.
That's going to come into the marketplace.
Yeah, exactly. And like a good example, I'm a Curo customer. I think it's really cool. I agree with you. The vibe coding. I'm a vibe coder on the weekends. But you're going to need, Agents has created this modular opportunity, because if you're creating software, for example, and you're deploying it into the enterprise, you're going to need agents to sort of verify, hey, to go test that software, to verify that it meets the compliance standards or regulatory standards or corporate standards, and this can all be done by agents now. And so by using tools like Curo in tandem with agents, like I was just talking to Lizer, who's a launch partner, they offer like governance capabilities through their Agentic platform. That makes tools like Curo even more powerful. So agents are doing some of this heavy lifting, this work that was often really time consuming before.
I was talking with Randall Hunt of Kalen.
Kalen, yeah.
He was a beta customer of Curo too. He was sharing that he's doing demos with customers on calls, actually coding in the call and shipping the product before the call ends to show the customer, I just pushed that.
Yeah.
And so what it shows is that you can actually have a generative sales transactional process in the marketplace.
Yeah.
I'm envisioning that might even be in line with procuring.
For sure. I mean,
hey, let's see if it works.
Yeah.
And actually have agents tested before you buy.
You mentioned private offers, and another thing, what's cool about this announcement and the agents in the marketplace is that the same benefits that you got from other product types in the marketplace you get with agents. So free trials, actually, to your point, you can have a free trial for an agent. You can try before you buy. You can see if the value you get from the agent is worth it to you as a developer or line of business user or whatever. So free trials, private offers, all that stuff flows through to agents in the marketplace.
How is the adoption coming up? Obviously, we could riff for an hour just on agent impact in the marketplace. So let's just put that pin in and we'll come back to that, because that's going to be a follow-up conversation for sure. I mean, so many scenarios to riff on. But let's talk about customer adoption. What are you seeing with the launch? I know you had some people looking at it beforehand. Now that the news is out, how are they thinking about adoption? What's the feeling? Comfortable? They leaning in? Nervous?
Yeah. Well, I think, listen, everyone, this is an exciting space. Everyone's figuring it out. But I'll give you some context. Like we actually came out with machine learning models in the marketplace way back in 2018, and there's about 1,000 of them now, and they work with SageMaker Jumpstart. That's 1,000-ish models today. At launch today, there are 900 agentic solutions in the marketplace. So that puts things in perspective. We launched today, and originally we had a launch goal. I think I told the team originally 50. And then I said, no, add a 0 to that. And then we had 800 yesterday and now 900 today. So, we're adding literally hundreds of new agents to the marketplace every single week, and that's driven by customer demand. Yeah. And so, the demand is huge. And there's still a lot of experimentation, still a lot of people figuring it out. Pricing models are still settling, but the demand is, it's outstanding.
You mentioned guardrails before and knowledge bases. This comes back down to the data moats out there. You have a lot of data.
Yeah.
How are you leveraging guardrails for customers? You mentioned that capability. Because Amazon has that as a key advantage in the cloud. Bedrock and SageMaker have been doing very well.
Yep.
We're hearing about customization. So you have a lot of this kind of like identity and governance going on. How is guardrails and knowledge bases working inside the marketplace?
Yeah, so we have embedded Bedrock guardrails and knowledge bases are embedded within the AWS Marketplace. You can buy third-party knowledge bases and guardrails. And you mentioned data. There's over 4,700 data sets that you can incorporate through S3 into Bedrock today. So there's a lot of ways that customers can both control how the agents are used and software more broadly on the marketplace, but also incorporate data from a lot of places. I think also like guardrails comes in the form of curation a lot of the time. And there's this private marketplace feature on the marketplace, and a lot of our customers, especially enterprise customers, use that to have a subset collection so that, hey, these are the agents, these are the SaaS applications, these are the other tools that you are allowed to use within the enterprise. And so that's been really popular with Topcart, and it's a good way to govern. You govern how the agent itself works, but also what agents you can pick in the first place.
How are customers landing on their usability of the marketplace? I know that's been a top priority for you and your team.
Yeah.
Is it like their interfaces, they hang out in there constantly buying stuff and configuring, or are they getting settled in? What's the use cases for the customer? What's the most popular use cases in more different divisions? Are they actually in there all the time? Are they browsing? What is the user experience like?
Yeah, we have a lot of data to show that once a customer buys the first time in the marketplace, then the wheels start spinning and there's a lot of subsequent purchases, and especially things like free trials accelerate that. Customers love the try before you buy, and I think this will get to your point, like especially important in agents. I think once they get started, they get hooked because it's way easier. Buying enterprise software, I think we have data to show that it's 60% faster when you're in the marketplace, so they get hooked to that speed. Yeah. And like we were saying before, these days there's so much experimentation that needs to happen. You need to try a bunch of different models, you need to try a bunch of different agents, and the faster you can do that, the faster you can stay ahead. So
how easy is to get an agent in there? Is there a hurdle? You have to be a certain,
Yeah, well, that's what makes it great is you can get started right away. Like if the agent is listed with a pay-as-you-go model, if there's an API vendor-hosted agent, for example, you can buy it and immediately start using it, and the vendors can actually include MCP configuration details right there, or you can deploy it into Agent Core. So you have the option to use it in Agent Core or vendor-hosted with MCP, with A2A, like in seconds.
But are you creating like a requirement that to get into the marketplace, let's just say I want to put the CUBE agent out there, it's not yet ready, but let's just say we had an agent. Can anyone just put agents in the marketplace?
I mean, you definitely can. We do seller vetting, so we do vet sellers. And also, what's really important to me is I don't want just anything to be called an agent. We've been talking about like agent washing, and a lot of people are saying my thing's agentic. So we actually take time not only to vet the seller to make sure that it's a trusted seller, but to also say like, is this actually an agent by our definition? Is this software that can operate autonomously?
Basically, you have a spec as a requirement.
Yeah. And we have a spec, and we do malware scanning for the container-based agents as well. So we do as much as we can. Obviously the agent is...
So it's the normal onboarding marketplace process.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important that it's part of the actual marketplace. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So it's all the same. It's just another app to you guys.
It's another app that customers can trust.
So you have the resilient bar is the same height. Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Final questions is this year has been like an unbelievable year. First half of the year, we just did a halftime report. There's been so much news. The velocity of action since reInvent has been incredible. It almost feels like the year is over.
Yeah.
It's almost pinch myself
but
moment.
It's not.
It's like not. It's like you got so much more second half coming. I mean, look at the event circuit we have for theCUBE. It's incredible. And reInvent is always the last kind of like cherry on top of the year. What's been the first half of the year like for you and your team in terms of action, success, accomplishments? Observations, and then what's it looking like for the second half?
Yeah, well, obviously the rise of agents is the big news right now. Commercially, yet partners like Salesforce in their Q1 2025 earnings call say that they hit the 2 billion mark through the marketplace in the last 18 months. So I think commercially, the rise of business applications like Adobe, Workday, Salesforce has been really like the story of the first half of the year, because it's not just security data, it's now you have these business applications and different users that are coming in. I mean, obviously for us, the big story
here.
The big story is AI. And I know that sounds like everyone's saying that, but like just 2 days ago, we launched AI pricing insights, for example, that gives customers the ability to have like not just summarizations of the product, but to understand complex product pricing. And so you're starting to see AI pop up all over the marketplace to help customers make more informed buying decisions. And that's really the theme, is like you mentioned, does it make it easier, faster? Like, yes, you can find the agent, you can deploy it more easily, you can trust it, and then you get better reviews, better summarizations of the product, better pricing insights. So we're starting to use AI just to essentially build customer trust, so they can confidently buy through the marketplace.
Yeah, I got to say, my report of the halftime, besides having the great cut from Amazon, is that watching Amazon Web Services transform so fast, building the muscle in AI and shipping product, at the size of the company, it's pretty spectacular. I got to say, you guys have done a great job of really actually getting the work done. I mean,
thank you.
Grinding. It's like, I mean, and the size and scope, it's not like a nimble startup.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
I've been here 13 years.
It's pretty massive.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever gone faster in the 13 years I've been here.
Think about the transformation. Just go back 2 years.
Yeah.
When Andy and Matt and team said, look guys, we have to get, and this is the past year, it's just a speed.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive. So, I mean, are you tired? You pumped up?
No, I'm excited. Like, long days, a lot of things, but like I said, the pace of innovation has never been faster, and it feels great. It reminds me, when we switched like agile software development, 20 years ago, that was a shift, but this is nothing like that. This is like the beginning of the internet. It's that kind of pace. It's amazing.
It's intellectually intoxicating at many levels. And I got to tell you, your comment about AI and agent, everyone's an AI company right now, and that's a lot of washing. And I think there's going to be people that won't make it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't go on stage in any conference and say you're not an AI. Who's going to say we're not an AI company?
Well, that's what's driving the demand, though. You were talking about demand, is that now you can be an AI company by procuring, for example, agents and AI solutions. So I think that's what's behind it.
I mean, I think there's consumption of AI and applications of AI, and then there's building AI tools. So I think a lot of people, and I think the data moats are huge. I mean, last year at reInvent, this came up as producers and consumers of AI, but we started kind of getting visibility into like not just synthetic data, but real data moats is an actual third category of player.
Okay.
There's producers of AI, you guys produce AI, then there's consumers of AI like us, we consume AI.
Yeah.
That's a data moat. So I think people are starting to realize what their competitive posture, strategy, and their business strategy is. I'm just curious, and that has to be reflected in the marketplace because that's where the buying is.
Yeah.
So are you seeing a lot of business transformation?
Yeah, totally. And I think that's why like professional services was such an important part of this launch, and why we also sell it through the marketplace, because like companies need help. They need change management. They need transformation assistance, not just the agents themselves. And so, the demand, I think, for professional services reflects the need for business transformation across a lot of enterprises these days.
Well, Matt, great to have you on theCUBE. Final question for you. You have the star of the show here, one of the 3 big announcements, the marketplace agents section and tools. Tool change, you pointed out, are getting better and faster, so that's going to be more goodness for you guys. What's the big summary result from the feedback? Analysts, press, customers, when you did the announcement, is it like, oh, that's so obvious? What has been is that the reaction? What has been the main reactions that you've seen come out of the market on this news?
I like two reactions. The first is like, wow, we didn't expect you to have so many launch partners and products. So, that exceeded everyone's expectations. So just the scope of what's available on day one has been blown away everyone's expectations. And I think the second is, like you said at the beginning, like what's next? How people are pricing these, how people are actually using these in production. It's evolving so fast. So I think we're really going to see, especially with Agent Core over the next 3 to 4 months, huge transformations and shifts. And so a lot of just excitement about the next few months.
I was always joking with Dave Vellante on the CUBE pod when I used to grow up near an amusement park, and everyone wanted to ride the roller coaster.
Yeah.
But you had to be this tall, right? So when you got that height, you went on. I feel like this is a good time with agents to really set that line. And you guys do vet the sellers. I think if there's not enough QA gone into riding the agent wave, I think this is going to be a
trust
challenge.
Is so important.
Trust is a huge issue. Guardrails. Matt, thanks a lot. Congratulations for the news.
Thanks, John. I appreciate it.
All right. CUBE coverage here in New York, doing our best. Soon we'll have our CUBE agents doing the interviews for you. I'm John Furrier, your host. Thanks for watching.
Say that.